Welcome people to my video about my homemade commander deck. Why I want to make this video? This is a commander deck that I have made from scratch, from nothing till up. So not like a pre-con deck and then shuffle it. No, I make it all by myself. And it's a deck I nothing see something similar like it. Like when I go to a local game store and they play or something, I not see other people play something similar like this deck, and actually it's quite fun deck. So I want to share with you my deck, how it is, and if you like it you can copy it. That's the point of this video actually, to just share it, and if you want it you take it. But it's a deck that I have, like, you know, you always have, everybody who play Magic Commander, always have something like, that's the guy where I want to build a deck about it. Well, I always have it with this card, Daghatar, the Admant. It was always a card, and I speak about years now. It was always a card that I say, I want to make a commander deck about it. It's maybe stupid, but it was always in my head like that. So I did, I changed, and many years later, we are here at this point, and now I think it's time to show you guys what's this commander deck, what it's doing, because this is a similar deck like the Slivers. You all know Slivers, I think. Slivers is like, you put a one in and all the Slivers have haste. You put another sliver in, all the Slivers has +1/+1. So you're building up with your tribe. Now this is not about tribe, it's about counters. Every creature with a 1/1 counter will have the same ability like another creature with 1/1 counters. This is how this deck is made. It's like Slivers, but only different is your creatures have to get a counter. So now I'm gonna show you guys how I make my deck, what's all the cards in it, that you can know it also. I also, at the end of the video, I will show you a deck list that I make myself then, that you just can copy and print or whatever what you want, if you like it. Now, you know how it goes with a homemade commander deck. Every time when there is a new set, and you like the card and it's a better card like another card, we change it. So you will see there is a lot different sets in this deck. It's normal, of course, but we're gonna start with our commander, people. I don't gonna wait too long. My commander, Daghatar, the Admanded. It's a legendary creature. It's mono white, but the ability is a swamp and a forest. So it means, like commander, you can use plains, swamps and forest from the cards. Now this creature is vigilant, and when he enters the battlefield with 4 1/1 counters on it. If you pay 3, move a 1/1 counter from target creature onto a second target creature. It don't have to be from him on another creature, no, you can take from any creature that you want. So this is our main purpose. Actually, what's very important is, like, he creates 4 counters and I can move counters around, because all this deck is about counters. I love math, so I love the decks with counters. Yeah, I love math, people. But even like to destroy creatures with this deck, even you can do it with counters. With counters on a creature, I can destroy another creature, or I can destroy an enchantment or whatever. You will see. First, what I have on commander, and I have 12 creatures in my deck with the ability like Slivers, but then with counters. So the first one that you have is ABZAN Falconer. It's a human soldier. It's our last. You can put a 1/1 counter on this creature, like a sorcery. And here it comes. This is where my 12 creatures from my deck is built on, what I mean with slivers. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it have flying. So every creature with a +1/+1 counter on it has flying. Okay, let's go to the next one. Longshot Squad. Outlast. Put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has reach. You see where I'm going like slivers? So every creature with a +1 counter on it, now already, like let's say this is in the battlefield, they have flying and they have reach. Yeah, it's now not just good things, but the next one we have from our 12 creatures like that. Murak Nightblade. Outlast again. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has Death Touch. We go for the next one. ABZAN Battle Priest. Outlast again. It's also very handy, Outlast. The people, you can always pump them up and you will see it's nice. Each creature with a +1/+1 counter on it has lifelink. So we already have flying, reach, death touch, lifelink for every creature with +1/+1 counters on it. And then we come to the next one, Enoch Bone Kin. Also again, Outlast. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has First Strike. So it's another ability with him that all my creatures get with a +1/+1 counter on it. Duckshell Crawler. When Duckshell Crawler enters, put a +1 counter on target creature. You're gonna put it on this one or on another one. You can see what you can do. And then each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has Trample. We go to the next one. Haggard Constrictor. He enters with 2 1/1 counters on it. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has Menace. It's again the ability from the +1/+1. When a creature have it, he have it. Then we come at our Tuxguard Captain. Outlast. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter has Trample. It's the same like the Duskshell Crawler, like the insect, but Trample is a good ability, and especially when you have creatures with a lot of counters on it. You have to think it. Battlefront Curse Hawk. It can be blocked by more than one creature, but every creature with a +1/+1 counter on it can be blocked by more than one creature. Again, a +1/+1 counter on it. And in this deck, you have to see that every creature have a +1/+1 counter on it. This one don't come in a battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. But you remember our commander? We can move a 1/1 counter from any target creature to another target creature. So it's handy when it comes to this. You just move a 1/1 counter and it's okay. Next one. Rishkar Pema Renegade. When he enters in the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter each up to 2 target creatures. And then again, each creature with a counter, so 1/1 counter, on it has tap it, add a forest to mana. So it's not bad actually. Next one. Elite Skull Guard. When Elite Skull Guard enter the battlefield, you have the bolster 2. You have a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it attacks, tap target creature defender player controls. How handy is it? All my creatures have +1/+1 counters, so if I attack with 4 creatures, it's 4 creatures I can tap from the opponent, and he cannot event with it. And then the last one, with the abilities like the Slivers with a 1/1 counter on it, Hard Cavalry. When you enter the battlefield, support 6 is like put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 6 other target creatures. It's nice. And then is whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, you gain 2 life. So this will make that you get life in it. Now people, these are my 12 creatures that make the effect like a sliver, but on with 1/1 counters on it in my deck. Now I have 12 creatures. It will be low in a deck from a commander deck, you know, of course. So I have 14 other creatures, and it's all about abilities with counters, that I can do something about it, or with it, or that I produce a lot of counters when it's in the game. And that's now the part that I'm gonna show you, the 14 other creatures. We're gonna start, you know, the best creatures for making counters. It's a Hydra in Magic. It's always been like that, and it will be always like that. We start with Mana Guard, Hydra, Trample. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on the Hydra. If you play commander with 4 people, before it's your turn back, it's like +4/+4 already on this Hydra. It's like very nice. And of course, you can change your counter again with your commander. Next one, Forgotten Entity. Whenever a player casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Forgotten Entity. Again, commander with 4 guys, it's a +4/+4. +4/+7 then. And this one is also an extra ability, what's very nice. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any numbers of +1/+1 counters from Forgotten Asset onto another creature. So it's also something that I can change and move my counters with, and it's necessary in this deck. Now we have this one. You all know it, I think. Shalia, Voice of the Plenty, a legendary creature, an angel, flying. You, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control have hexproof. It's not like they have to have a counter, no, everything that you control has hexproof. What's the second ability from this card that I really like? Pay 6, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. It's not bad, especially not with this deck because you need the counters. Now the 4th creature from my 14 other creatures, Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, that's how many you pay, of course. If you pay 4, you can put a counter on it, or when you use abilities like other cards. And this is a very important card. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Walking Ballista. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. When I can remove, or something like this one, you make it in combo. We have like 1 round, we have 4 counters on it. At your upkeep, you put 4 counters on Walking Ballista. I take 4 counters of Walking Ballista and can do 4 damage on a creature or on a player. And this is how you can roll with this deck all the time. So this really is a deck about counters, math, changing counters, moving counters from the one to the other. And I never see a similar deck like this. It's all made from scratch, yeah? But next one, Fertilite. Fertilite enter the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. If you pay 1 and a forest, remove a 1/1 counter from Fertilite. Target player may search his or her library for a basic land card and puts it onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle his library. So this is actually a great way how you can use your counters to find your land. So we have already like the counters to destroy something. Now we have something like counters to search for a basic land card. It's also not bad, I think. This is also a nice one. Nicholas, the launcher, he entered the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on. You can tap it and you can put a 1/1 counter on it. But if you remove a 1/1 counter from it, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. So I pay from him 1 1/1 counter, and if I have 4 creatures, I put 4 1/1 counters, 1 on each creature. So it's not a bad combination. Hopeful Initiation. It's a training. It's never bad training with counters, because you always get counters with it. And especially if you already see how it can go with the counters on this deck. And then when you pay 2 and a plane, remove 2 +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. So it doesn't have necessarily to be from this one, it can also be from other creatures. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. What do you want more? You can take artifact outs, you can take enchantments outs, you can give your creature other counters, you can search for a basic land card, you can destroy your creatures with counters or your opponent creature with counters. And what do we also have? Another Hydra. When he enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters, what you die, you get. And then this one is, whenever he dies, you may put how many counters this have on to other creatures you control. So when he dies, the counter is not for a waste. You still can say I want there or there under your creature, you can share it. So I think this is a good counter maker. I thought I'm gonna put it in it, and I never lose my counters when it dies. This one is to make my creatures cheaper. Now you only have 1 card from it in my deck to make my creatures cheaper, so it's Hamza, Guardian of Arashin. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter. Now if you already have like 3-4 creatures on it with counters on it, and normally when you cast a creature you have counters with me, it's only 2 mana for a 5/5 and the abilities. And what's the next ability? Creature spells you cast cost 1 mana less, colorless mana less, to cast for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Now people, I think that's fantastic. Then it's cheaper and cheaper to put spells on from creatures. Next one we have, again, this one is a big one for putting in the game, but also to bring some creatures from your library onto the battlefield. Because When you cast Energy Hydra, reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put a non-land permanent card with convert mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest into the battlefield. So actually it's one card you play and another card is free to put in play. And of course you come with X +1/+1 counters on it again. Now this one is a special one. Hidden Trainslayer is creature human warrior, and this one have lifelink. What's the megamorph? First you morph it down, and then when you dismorph it, when your Hidden Dragon Slayer is turned face up, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater in opponent control. It's very nice, not? Plus, when you do a megamorph, you can put 1/1/1 counter on it. It's again a counter creature. Again, he will have trample, he will have death touch, menace, whatever that you want, because it's a counter on it. That's how my deck rolls. Now, this one, Ryan, last of the ABZAN. He enters with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. And then it is, whenever a creature you control dies or is put into a command zone, if it has 1 or more +1/+1 counters on it, you may put that many +1/+1 counters on target creature. So it's again something that I don't lose my counters. If you see it, something like, yeah, you keep it all, you hold it. How many counters you have, how more counters you have, desto better, because I destroy creature with counters, I destroy enchantments with counters, so I need my counters to do my things in my deck. And of course, yeah, this is from the foundation. Like I say, people, I have cards from all sets in this deck. Call it Great Worm. It's a trample. Whenever a creature you control deals damage during your turn, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. So it's back to make a lot of counters from the creatures, and you have to think, when I have already like a 4/4 for damage, again 4 is 8 counters, and go up and up and up and up. And you may cast this card from the graveyard by removing 6 counters from among creatures you control in addition to pay its other cost. 6 counters. It's for me nothing late in game. I can throw with it with 6 counters. Here, take it. No, it's nothing for the game, for the deck. And then we have this one also, people, from the foundation. But this is especially, how to say, to make extra counters. A lot of counters. It is Mossborn Hydra. I think you already know from Magic Arena. Oh no, it's 164. But it's trample, creature enter with a 1/1 counter on it, and every time when you do landfall, so a land enter, it's double the counters. So it's 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on and so on and so on. Very nice card to use also to make a lot of counters that I can distribute. Okay, let's say like there a couple on the creature, there a couple on the creature. I can do with this card a lot of it. Now we're gonna come at our artifacts. I have in total 6 artifacts in this deck. I know you can do a lot of more artifacts, like you pay 2 and you can tap it for your commander color, but I am something I believe it, like when you use artifact like that, you can use 1 or 2 from it, but the rest make it a land. Don't make it all artifacts, make it a land that you don't have to pay first and then use it like a land. No, you can use it straight like a land when you put it on the game. But that's just something like yeah, my eyes. It's my way that I play, I will say it like that. Now we have our 6 artifacts. And the first one, you see it already, is the new one from the Ether Drift. It's the Ether Spark. How can you not put this card in a commander deck with +1/+1 counters? Everybody needs this card if you have a commander deck that you homemade with +1/+1 counters on it. In my eyes. Because as long as it's attached to a creature, Ether Spark can be attacked or hasn't when equipped creature deal combat damage during your turn with that many loyalty counters on the Ether Spark. It's fantastic. It's +1 attached to a target creature you control. Put a 1/1 counter on that creature, so you attach it and you put a 1/1 counter on it, and you have an extra loyalty counter on it. If you take 5 of it, draw 2 cards, and then -10 at 10 mana of any color. It's just a great card to have it in a counter deck in my eyes, people. It brings something like you can draw 2 cards back again, it gives you a synergy, you can change it from creature to creature to creature to creature, so it's nice. This is also a card that you not can miss in a counter deck from a +1/+1 counters. It's the Uzilith. Whenever a creature you control leave the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Uzilith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Uzilith had counter on it, you may move all the counters from the Uzilith onto target creature. It's again a way, and it's only cost 1 mana for not losing any counters that's on the battlefield. That you can take the counters from the creature when it's die, you can put it on it, and you can put it on another creature next turn. So you will not lose counters if it's possible. You need your counters. Next one, Aether Amplifier. Add 1 mana of any color. That's one, like I say, I never gonna take a card like that in my deck. But why I take this card, you know, with the extra ability, pay 4, tap it, choose 1, activate only as a sorcery. Double the number of each kind of counters on target permanent. You already guess it. Double the number of each kind of counters you have. It's not gonna be that one you're gonna take the first one on target permanent, but hey people, it's a great card. Something like 4/4 counters you can make an 8/8. Something like 20/20 counters you can make a 40/40. It's a hell of a good card. This one is a double-sided card, people, and I like this card a lot. Again, you pay 2. Terminate combos. I think everybody needs that in their commander deck. This card. This is pay 3 mana, tap it, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. It's very nice, you can find more basic lands, so it's very nice. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 7 or more lands, transform Dominic Compass. Now, if we transform people, what will the card say now? It's pretty awesome. It's like add a colorless mana. But what's the other thing? Untap target attacking creature an opponent control and remove it from the combat. How nice is it not? Like here I have a big fucking demon, a black one, who attack with 7/7, and when he hits you, you go again, like 7/7 extra of it. You can take it away with this. You just tap it, you untap his demon, and you say, no, he will not do it this time. He will be removed from combat. It's nice. It's nice that you can do it like that. It's an extra thing that you can say like, maybe we're gonna win now. Or like times changer or something, game changer, not, but you can hold him off. You can hold him off for a while. Now the other one, Bret Hart Engine. At the beginning of your upkeep, survive one. This one I put in it like more to see through your cards. Like when you have your library and that you can more see if you have the right card or not to draw the next turn. And also the extra ability, the second ability that they have, I think it's very nice. Pay 2 colorless, 1 swamp, 1 forest, tap it, sacrifice this artifact, return target creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only a sorcery. Now, vehicle I don't have in this deck, but the creature card I have. So I put it in, I can survive. And when I have like a good creature like with Death Touch or Lifelink or something and destroy it, I can just bring it back if I want with this card. It's very nice one. And then the last artifact from 6. This is the only one that I take like from the mana. Lands you control have, add 1 mana of any color. And that's only the reason why I put this card in. It is like if I have a plane but I need a swamp and I have this, I can use my plane as a swamp. And that's the things that I want. Because believe it or not people, but last time I played with this deck and I was like, yeah, okay, nice, up, we're gonna play. 2 games in a row, I not draw any swamps. 2 games in a row. People next to me say, do you have swamps in your deck? Yeah, I have swamps in my deck. So I put this card in next to it because I have something like, you're not gonna take my swamps anymore away. But that was my 6 artifact cards, people. It's all about the counters or about the mana or something like that. Otherwise I don't want the card like that. I'm gonna put in a little bit more in the picture. Now, of course, not every deck, commander deck, have planeswalkers, but I have planeswalkers. I have 6 planeswalkers in my commander deck. Yeah, 6, you hear it. But it's all, again, about the counters and the things that you can do then with your deck again. Our first planeswalker that I have is Yang Yu, Wildcrafter. And it says each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it, so every creature that I have, or I can make it like that, has add 1 mana of any color. Again, if you can use everything for mana in your battlefield, it's a win-win. It's always a win-win. And when I take a loyalty counter off, it's like -1. Now you see, I cannot put loyalty counters on, but remember this card, people, or artifact, target permanent. It's not target permanent creature, it's target permanent. So I can put my loyalty counters on this one. I can make it 6. And then I can put 6 counters on a target creature, so it's not bad. But most important for me, it's add 1 mana at any color. That's the most important part from this card for me. That I still have my mana flow, that I can do everything with it. Second one, Nisha, Voice of Zendikar. It's the only thing that I have to make other tokens. When I do it, +1 loyalty, put a 0/1 green card or a plant creature token onto the battlefield. If I take 2 loyalty counters off, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. And again for draw, and that you have enough cards in your hands and your life. -7, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of lands you control. So it can be go hard, people. When you play it on the end of the game and you have like 20 lands or 15 lands, it can go hard. Now we have 4-time Ayani. And why 4-time Ayani? Ayani is a planeswalker of the counters. Period. Everybody know it. He's a planeswalker of the counters. First Ayani, +2, reveal the top 3 cards of your library, put all non-land permanent cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Nice to get cards. -2, exile target creature, his controller gain life equal to its power. It's nice, only that he get life, but still, better he get life and the big creature is gone than otherwise. -9, put 5 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control and 5 loyalty counters on each permanent other planewalker that you control. So it's gonna be a beast. Next Ayani. Ayani, Mentor of Heroes. +1, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2 or 3 target creatures you control. Okay. +1, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an aura, creature or planeswalker card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's also not bad. It's again like taking from your library. Let your library work, not only from the top, but let it work. -8, you gain 100 life. Yeah, man! So it's a very nice one. Another Ayani. Ayani, the Great-Hearted. Creatures you control have Vigilance. It's always nice that every creature has Vigilance, then you can attack and block every time. +1 loyalty. You gain 3 life. -2, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each other planeswalker you control. It's not bad for my deck because I need my counters. You know it, people. I need my counters. And then the last Ayani I have, Valiant Protector. It is put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. +1. Reveal cards from the top of your library and then reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. And then the last one, -11, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature, where X is your life total. That creature can trample till end of turn. Now it can also go hard, the people with the life total. This one, I always doubt about it to put it in my deck or not, but I leave it in it because it's also like for my library. I can search again. Not search, but I can do more than only take it from the top. So these are my 6 planeswalkers from this deck. And now we're gonna do enchantments. I have in total 11 enchantments in my deck, people. And my enchantments is very easy. It's again all about the counters. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it explores. Reveal the top card of your library. Put a card into your hand if it's a land, otherwise put a +1/+1 counter on the creature. Then put the card back or into your graveyard. It's not bad, eh? Or you have a land extra in your hand, or you know your next card, you can put it like back on the top or in the graveyard. So it's not bad. And it's no land, you put a 1/1 counter on the creature that just entered the battlefield. I like it, Bet of Discovery. Next one, everybody know it, Innkeeper's Talent. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, on target creature you control. Permanents you control, with counters on them, have worth 1. Again, I play with all creatures with counters on it, so they all get worth 1 then. Level 3, If you will put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those counters on the permanent or player instead. Again, it's like, it's great for my deck, it's great. Next is again a double-sided card. I will do like so. Journey of Eternity, legendary enchantment. When enchant creature die, return it to the battlefield under your control. Then return Journey of Eternity to the battlefield transform under your control. Now, dog hair was between it. If you have dogs or cats or whatever, everybody knows the hair is impossible to get away from. If we turn this card then on, it is a land. It become a land then. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, so it's nice, you can use what you want from the land. But the other one that I really like again, it's like you pay 3 colorless, 1 swamp, 1 forest, and you tap it, return target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. It's not only one time, you can do it and do it and do it and do it again. Every turn you can take 1 target creature back again if you want it then. So in my eyes, it's a very nice card. Now let them put back in. Next one we have, it's a very important one for this deck. It's the same like our creature we have, but it's an enchantment. And if I pay 1 swamp, remove X +1/+1 counters from among your creatures you control. So it may be from any creature that you have, not only from one creature, but how many you want to take from every creature, it don't matter. Target creature get -X until end of turn. So it's a great way to destroy other creatures by taking counters of your creatures and don't attack. You remember the green card? Creature you control fights against another creature or do damage with his power. I have it in black with my counters. Very easy. It's only cost me 1 swamp every time. But it's only 1 time you can do it for turn. Otherwise it has to be... Oh no. You can do it more than 1 time per turn. Because it's like double point in it. You see it, people? So you have to pay a swamp and remove the counters. Double point target creature get. So if you have 3 swamps and you want to do like 3 creatures, you can do it. You can clear the board with it. Next enchantment. Ordered scales. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be placed on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are placed instead. So if it's get 2, you get 3 on it. It's like that. This one, Kryptonite, creature you control have add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Again, to make sure that you have mana enough. Then our branch evolution. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature you control, twice that many +1/+1 counters are put on a creature instead. So it's like double it. If I put 2 on it with this card, now it's 4 on it. Let's go up and up and up, and it's for every creature. So it's a very nice card for in my deck. Bow of Nelia, a legendary enchantment artifact. Attacking creatures you control have death touch. No, it's not bad to make your creature death touch. And what I like about this one is you can pay it, you can tap it and then choose one. With a +1/+1 counter on target creature, always handy in this deck when you need it. It deals 2 damage to target creatures with flying. It's also handy if you can choose. You can choose to make 3 life for you, also handy. Or put up to 4 target cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your library in any order. So it means you can always take your graveyard and put it back in your library. Very, very, very handy. And why? Because there are enough black cards that say search a card in your library. So if you combine it with this one, and you can put the cards from your graveyard back in your library, and then you can take another card and search the card back in your library, you have a circle. And you can go on. And you can do it like, let's say I have like 3 or 4 cards in it that I can search a card in my library. One card is in my graveyard from it. I just take that card and I put it back in my deck. And the circle go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, people. So I like this card very much. Next one. This is the power card. Valkyrie calls. Whenever a non-token, non-angel creature you control dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. It has flying and it's an angel in additional type. The angel and flying, I don't matter, but you have to think I have a creature with 4 counters on it. It dies. When I have my Uzulik, my 4 counters go on the Uzulik. This creature comes then back with his abilities from plus counters, but he gets an additional counter from this. And I can put my 4 counters from an Uzulik back. So I can block with every creature every time when this card is on it. And it doesn't matter because it comes back every time. It's a genius card. Genius, especially when you have the Uzulik, then your creature come back like double strong. Block again, double so strong. Let's go on and on and on and on. This one I also like a lot. Catcher Crusade. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Now, the people who play with a lot of counters in his decks or whatever, now already see how this deck goes and started and work in the synergy of it. It's a synergy that I not see similar with other decks. I not see it similar with other commander decks, but it's so nice to play and use this deck. It's great. And then our last one, Oath of Ayani, because you have 4 Ayani Planeswalkers, why not take Oath of Ayani with it? Right, guys? When Oath of Ayani enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, so it's again like extra counters on it. And also, Planewalker spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Is this a card that you need in this deck? No. Is it a card that's fun in this deck? Yeah! Why not? It's fun! So I put it in. Now we're gonna come at our instants. I have 7 instants in the deck. Now, I'm a guy when you have sorceries and you can change them as instants is better in my eyes. And I still have 10 sorceries in this deck and I don't really like it, but they have their point to be in it, so it's a double thing. But maybe later a card will come out and instead of sorcery it will be instant, and then you can change the card back again in your deck. You know how it goes. That's why I say you never are finished with a homemade commander deck. Now my first instance, I believe it's one of the best mono-white instants that you can use in a commander deck. And everyone who have a commander deck with white in it, like planes, in my eyes you have to get this card. It's like 2 mana, down charm, choose one. Prevent all combat damage that will be turned this turn, so it's actually a fog. Then, or regenerate target creature. You can regenerate your creature if you want then, or counter target spell that targets you. You know, like the red players, double damage on it. Blah blah blah, I burn you to 20 points. You can use it against a white card, not a blue card, a white card. You can use it So I like this card. I like this card very hard, and I think every people who play with white in commander deck need this card in their commander deck. It's my first instant. Second one, Web Invader. Again 2, didn't get each creature you control. So when you have like a big block or something, you can use it. It's a card that you can change in this deck to another card, but at the moment this card stays in it, and we will see later what the future say. Next one, Inspiring Call. Draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Normally, every creature from us has a +1/+1 counter on it, so normally we're gonna draw a lot of cards of it then. And those creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. It's a good one, you know it, people. Now this one, because I don't have a lot of flyers, or they all become a flyer, but then I have to get a creature from it. Broken Winds. It's like destroy target artifact, enchantment, or a creature with flying. So it's a card that you can do like 3 things with it. And in Commander, I think it's important, like you need a card against artifact, enchantments, and of course against a big damn fucking flyer. But I think this is a very good card actually. Then we have our Fog. It was recommended by somebody, and I never thought about it because you all know, guys, I play old school 93-94 and I have Fog in my deck, but I never thought about Fog to put it in my commander deck till somebody said it to me, and I was like, yeah, you're right, I have to do it. So Fog in it. Dromaco's Command. It's also a card that I like a lot. 2 mana, choose 2. Prevent all damage target instant or sorcery spell will deal this turn. Again, mono red. You can block it. Or target player sacrifice an enchantment. Or put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Or target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So there is a card you can choose 2 things with it. It's 2 things. It's useful that you can use, and only it's like 1 mana per thing then, so it's not bad. Definitely not. And then the last one, it's again against flyers. All creatures you control can block creatures with flying until end of turn. Crossbow Ambush. It's a card that I have, like, yeah, when you play against mono red, all dragons, or think about Dragon Storm. It's gonna be all flyers in it. This will be a handy card then. You get it, me people? You get me? Now I have 10 sorceries, I say already. And I want to change some sorceries in instance, but as long as it's not the same ability with it, it's gonna keep the sorcery. First and the most important sorcery in this deck, in my eyes, Early Ultimate. Return any number of permanent cards with different names to play with the commander, so everything having a different name, because you only may use 1 card in your deck from everything. From your graveyard to the battlefield. It can be chaos, people. It can be chaos if you play this card. Next one. Blackwind. Destroy all creatures you don't control. They can't regenerate. So you creatures stay, and I know it's 2 more. Like otherwise, when normally it's like 7 for destroy all creatures already, and even 4 now. But this one is 9, but your creatures stay. All the rest is gone. Hour of Revelation. Why I take this one? I know it's 6. It's maybe a little bit expensive, but Hour of Revelation costs 3 less, so it's only then 3 mana, to cast if there are 10 or more non-land permanents on the battlefield. Destroy all non-land permanents. You all know when you want to use a wiper people. Yeah, then it's more like 10 permanents on the battlefield. So it's a hell of a good card in my eyes. This one, Cleansing Nova, 5 mana. And why I like this one, choose one. But you can use it like destroy all creatures or destroy all artifacts or enchantments. I like it a lot that you can choose about it. This, again, the same way, is 6 mana, farewell, sorcery, but yeah, the art also people like blowing on a horse flower, or how you call it in English, but with us translate this horse flower. It's sorcery and it says choose one or more, so you can even choose everyone if you want. But you can exile all graveyards, you can exile all enchantments, exile all creatures, or exile all artifacts. It's exile, it's not go to the graveyard, it's exile, it's out of the game. So it's a very nice one in my eyes. Now this one. This is one of my 4 cards that I save from black, that you can look for a card. Mastermind Acquisition. Choose one. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Like I said before, I can search my card and back again. With the other card, the land card, I can take a card and put it back in my graveyard, in my library, so it's a circle that I can do. Now the second ability I never use with this one, but if I want to play it dirty, I take like an emerald next to me or something, an Eldrazi emerald. Choose a card out of your... choose a card you own from outside the game and put it in your hand. So I can take my dirty mana Eldrazi, put it on, and I play the next turn for you. So be sure if I play the next turn for you, all your creatures are dead. Or I'm gonna try to manipulate you as many as possible. Second one, Dark Petition. Search your library for a card, put the card into your hand, then shuffle your library. And it has a Spellmaster. If you control 2 or more instant or sorcery cards into your graveyard, add 3 swamps to your mana pool. So it's actually a little win-win. Diabolic Tutor. It's a 4 mana. Search your library for a card and put the card into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Again, it's all about taking the cards back from your library to your hand, from your hand on the battlefield, from the battlefield in the graveyard, from the graveyard back in the library, and you go like that on the circle around on the cards that you want that make the game. When they exile the card, yeah, you're fucked. But that's in every part. Bushwhacker. Bushwhack. You have 1 mana, choose one, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand and shuffle. It's like you really need some land, you never know it. Or target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. You know, it can be handy when there is some creature with a special ability and it's not gonna go away. So I like this card also. And my last sorcery from the 10 is Collective Effort. You can escalate, tap an untapped creature you control, and then you can do like more. So the first one is a mana cost. When you want the second one or the third one, you have to tap 1 creature more or 2 creature more. The first one is destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Always nice. Destroy target enchantment. Again, destroy enchantment. Always nice in commander decks. Or the last one, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target. player's control, so all your creatures can make like a +1/+1 counter. It can be very handy with me. And now we become at our lands, people. In total, but totally total, we have 33 lands. Now 33 lands, I know you're gonna say, for commander it's too little. Yeah, it's true, but you remember my planeswalker and my other cards and my creature that says like all creatures you control can tap mana for what they want. You remember that one? That's why I only put like 33 in it. Now we're gonna start with 10 dual lands. Yeah, Wasteland Fog from the new Aether Drift. It's like a hell of a good land. You can use it just like a forest. You replace your basic forest with it and it's always nice. When you have then a swamp or a forest, you can use a swamp also. So it's a very nice card. I also have the first from it, of course. Same story but with swamps and plains. Then Sumpetald Grove. You enter the battlefield tapped unless you control a forest or a plain. Twilight Mire. It's for colorless mana, or if you tap a forest or a swamp and you tap this card, then it's like two swamps, a swamp and a forest, or a forest. So it's nice because actually you can make one swamp, two forests. So it gives you room to play with your colors from mana. I like cards like that. It's the same card, this one, but with other colors. It's with swamps and plains. This one, if you have two lands, it comes straight on the battlefield, otherwise taps, and give me like one swamp or one forest. This is the same, it's a forest, and it will give me a plain. If I control a forest or a plain, you can change it perfectly for a forest in your deck. Then we become a Tainted Wood. Add one colorless mana to your mana pool, or add a swamp or a forest to your mana pool. Play this ability only if you control a swamp. Here's the same with plains, but only back again when you control a swamp. Here's this comes tapped unless you control a plain or a swamp. Isolated Chapel. And now we come at 10 lands, 11 lands, excuse me. 11 lands I have in my deck with all extra abilities for my deck. So the first one, Rise at Port. I think it's a nice one. You give me a colorless, or I can tap a target land from the opponent or something. Evolving Wild, I don't have to explain nothing with it. This one, Nesting Ground, colorless mana, or I can pay 1 mana, tap it, and move a counter from target permanent you control onto another target permanent. Activate only a sorcery. So again, it's like for my counters to change from creature to creature. This is the card that also can help with it. So, can be nice. Temporary Expanse, it's the same like Evolving Wild. No explaining. Now, Cascading Cataracts. It's indestructible. I have colorless mana to produce, and if you have 5 and you tap it, you can add mana in any combination of colors you want. It's a card, it has to be in here. No, it's more like an Eldrazi card or a Sliver card or something. But it can be handy. You never know. You just never know what combination you need. Like I say, last time, 2 games in a row, no swamps. I was like, buh. Then you have Cavian Town ship. It's a land. It's one colorless mana pool, and when you tap two colorless, one forest, one plain, you can put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control again. So it's again to make my counters more and more and more and more and more. We come at our legendary land, you all know it. Channel, if you discard this card, it deals 4 damage to target attacking creature or blocking creature, and this ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. Now I don't have a lot of legendary creatures, but I have, so it's possible it's choose. Then we have this one. Takano a Bandit Mirror. It's like one swamp you can add to it, but what I like about this one is also again channel this card is and mill 3 cards, then return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. Again, this ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control, but only to say like I can take my creature back again from the graveyard. It's let make my circle. I want to make my circle with my deck. Yeah. Now the other lands we have Sandstep, Citadel enters the battlefield tapped. You all know the lands. He can produce all the colors that I need. Detecting Tower. It's a land that I love a lot, and a lot of people don't know how good this land can be. Let's say everybody have Ward, Hexproof, or what a peep also. What you can do, you can tap 1 mana, you can tap this one until end of turn. Your opponent of creatures your opponent control with Hexproof can be target of spells and abilities you control as 2 they didn't have Hexproof. So you can take it away then for the turn and destroy it. So I like it, I like it. It's vulnerable for the opponent to give him open. Then of course in every commander deck there has to be a commander tower, period. Then we come at the basic land cards. I have 3 basic plains. I have 4 basic swamps. And I have 5 basic forests. Now people, this was my commander deck. Now I tell you again, why I do this. I think it's a very fun deck with a lot of possibilities from how do you want to play, what you want to play, what you want to do. It's like circle complete in my eyes. Maybe a couple of cards you still can change to other cards, but that's like personal opinion I think. But I never see people something like similar like this deck play. And yeah, I want to share it. I want to share it and I want to bring it out in the world. This kind of synergy with +1/+1 counters, that you can make it like slivers, but even a little bit stronger in my eyes. So I hope you love this video people. Now at the end I will do a little deck list that you can see it and you can copy and print it or whatever that you want or what you want. You can also watch the movie, the video back again. Then you can write everything down from card that you say, oh that was a good card that I need or something. You can see how it calls and everything. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you're glad that I do something like that you also can take the information from it. If you have, please leave something in the comments. Let me know if you like a video like this. Maybe I do it with other decks also. And people, you know what I say always on the end of the video. Please enjoy your life, enjoy your day, and take care people. Thanks for watching.